Oh, well, I was supposed to do a countdown, but anyway, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to a brand new edition of the first live edition of the MEAC and More, where we're covering, an event. It's the first round of the NCAA tournament, first four here on the HBCU Sports YouTube channel. I am MEAC and More correspondent and host and producer and all of that good stuff, Chris Stevens. Hopefully, you folks are doing well out there. Um, is it just me or is my screen lagging? Y'all let me know what's going on. Me close out some of these windows. That might, you know, be part of the problem. But yes, today we are watching Howard take on UMBC in the first four of the NCAA tournament. We'll talk more about how Howard ended up in this predicament as the show progresses. But before we do that, let's get some house cleaning done. This edition of the MEAC and More is brought to you by Rock Solid Works Contracting and Development, based out of Wilmington, Delaware. Rock Solid Works Contracting and Development handles all your construction, demolition, and remediation needs. If you need something built, they can build it. If you need something torn down, they can tear it down. They also help with all sorts of other things in the infrastructure realm. For more information, go to rocksolidworks.net. Rock Solid Contracting is HBCU owned and operated. I'd like to thank Norman Oliver, the founder and owner of Rock Solid Contracting and Development, for sponsoring MEAC and More, as he has agreed to do throughout the entirety of the year. Also, for my own self, did you guys know I have a music podcast? It's called On the Groove Line with Chris Stevens. I cover all things old school hip hop, R&B, jazz fusion, funk, soul, quiet storm, dance music, house music, disco, you name it. I talk about it. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is right here on the screen, youtube.com/at on the groove line. I also interview old school artists as well. Have great interviews with Michael Cooper from Confunction, Bernard Jackson from Surface, Keith Kilgo of the Blackbirds, and many others. So feel free to, subscribe to On the Groove Line and enjoy the music takes. I have really good music takes aside from my sports stuff. So, as I was saying, Howard University is going to take on UMBC in a few minutes. Howard 23-10, won the MEAC this past weekend. They had an easier road than most teams would expect them to have, because of course they didn't have to play an AC. Delaware State was the AC officially, but Coppin State had APR problems and had to forfeit their appearance in the MEAC tournament. So Delaware State moved up to the 7th seed, and that was bad news for Morgan State because Delaware State beat Morgan State. So Howard didn't have to play a game until Friday. A couple other teams played Wednesday and Thursday, and Howard didn't have to play a game until Friday, which of course when the semifinals was, and that helped them out a lot because North Carolina Central, they really exhausted themselves. They who did they beat in overtime? I forgot who they beat in overtime. This is messing with UMES. They beat UMES in overtime in the quarters and didn't put away Delaware State until the final minute of the semifinals Friday night. They didn't get off the floor until 11 o'clock or somewhere close to that. And then they had to turn around Saturday morning, get up and play a game at 1 p.m. on national television. And they still hung with Howard. But credit to Howard, they won the ball game, and they won the MEAC for the third time in 4 years. And they'll be playing UMBC, which is known as Maryland-Baltimore County. They, of course, are known best for being the 16 seed, that the first ever 16 seed to be the number one when they beat Virginia back in 2018. I had a good laugh at Virginia's expense because I thought that team was wildly overrated anyway, because I always thought Tony Bennett was something of an overrated coach, and UMBC knocking them off just cracked me up. Of course, Virginia won the championship the next year, so sometimes, sometimes hot takes can be wrong, but UMBC knocked them off, and this is UMBC's first time in the dance since 2018. So they got a 3-guard lineup of guys who average about 12 to 14 points each. They have one dude who shoots 92% from the free throw line, so can't foul him too much. And the thing I think Howard is going to be able to use to their advantage is that they're not a really big team, but they're way more athletic than the UMBC bigs look, to me anyway. Like, I've had a chance to do a little bit of Instagram scouting before we got on the air tonight, and nothing about UMBC's bigs lead me to believe that Bryce Harris, Cedric Taylor, Osi Okoji are going to have too much trouble with those guys. And Howard already has a great backcourt anyway. So, Cam Gillis is Mr. Triple-Double, MEAC Defensive Player of the Year, top 3 in the MEAC in assists. So, Howard should win this game. I believe Howard should win this game. And they have Michigan coming. The winner of this game plays Michigan in Buffalo. So, if my math is, if I understand distance correct, Dayton and Buffalo are not, too far apart. They're far enough apart But Howard will have a chance to get a road day in, rest up, and then face the third number one seed because the top seed overall in the tournament is Duke. So, and I'm glad that Nolan Smith, since this is the MEAC and More, by the way, that does include our friends at Tennessee State and Hampton, North Carolina A&T. I'm so glad that Nolan Smith is not going to have to be subject to that, Duke thing. Oh God, he played at Duke. Let's put him as the number 16 seed. Tennessee State is number 16 against Duke, and number 1 John Shire because they were teammates, and all that good stuff. Yeah, blah 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 blah, whatever. Tennessee State plays Iowa State. They're the 15 seed. Tennessee State is, and Iowa State is number 2. And what happened 25 years ago this month? Number 2 seed Iowa State lost to a number 15 seed, Hampton. That was one of the first March Madness moments I remember as a teenager getting ready to go into college. Like, whoa, did that really just happen? And that was fun, to see Steve Murfield getting picked up and kicking his legs in the air all crazy. I mean, the MEAC has some great March Madness moments. Let's not forget it. I mean, we just saw 2012 Norfolk State beat Missouri when they were the 2 versus 15, and even way back in Fang Mitchell's days with Coppin State in '97 when they were the 15, they beat BJ Mackey in South Carolina when they were the number 2. So HBCU basketball, I mean, we have some upsets, and I would love nothing more than for Howard to become another 16 seed to beat Michigan. Only problem is Michigan has this one kid that's like Jokic, but a vegan edition of Nikola Jokic. I forget the young man's name, but he's 7 foot. He can shoot it. He can handle it. He likes being out on the perimeter. That might be the kid that gives Howard the most trouble, but I don't see anybody on UMBC squad that's going to give Howard too much trouble tonight. I mean, it's going to be a good ball game, but I do think Howard wins it. So, if you guys have something you want to ask us in the chat, before we get, because the game's still 3 minutes away from starting. So, if you would, you see this, QR code in the corner, please hold your phone up to it, click it, and donate to keep us going. We're making it, but we could use some help as we are trying to get through the dry season of sports once basketball season is over, because unfortunately our folks don't care too much about the spring sports or the baseballs, the softballs, the track and fields. Even a few of our programs have lacrosse, but everybody wants the football news, they want the basketball news, and nothing else. But those seasons dry up, and that kind of leaves us struggling a little bit. So if you would like to help us keep this thing going, click that QR code and donate. But also you can donate a couple other ways. We have a Cash App account, we have a Cash App account. You can guys go to Cash App, type in $HBCU Sports, drop some money there. You can donate via the Zelle app. You open up the Zelle app, type in donate@hbcusports.com, and drop your coins there. And we also have a website. I mean, we have the website. We have a donation link on our website. It's hbcusports.com/donate. You can donate there and drop your coins and help us, make that happen. So if you guys want to, feel free to do that. Let me make sure my phone is off, even though I had to close my tabs because it was slowing down my camera for some reason. I can't afford another computer right now. This computer better not be acting up. I can tell you that much. But yeah, okay, so we have Jim Spinarkle and I forget this gentleman's name, who's the play-by-play guy. But I have it on mute because I don't want to be. Let me see if I can get away with this being on.
We're going to enjoy these matchups. Let's start with the Howard Vice, and they're led by MEAC Player of the Year, Bryce Harris, who's the engine of their own.
Yeah, they're talking about Bryce Harris right now on the broadcast. Real powerful kid, 6'4", 220. They haven't listed his guard, but he plays more of a small forward, power forward than anything. Very talented kid, strong, goes to the bucket. He's not going to jump over you, but he's going to, you're going to get hit hard, when you bump up against Bryce Harris. And here's a DJ Armstrong Jr. from UMBC who scored 33 points in the championship game, 7 of 9 for 3. They absolutely have to account for him. They have a couple other guards that they need to account for over on the UMBC side. So starting lineups, Jalakai King, another one of those guards, Ace Valentine, Josh Ondunowo, and Jose Roberto Tanchan are the stars for UMBC. For Howard, it's Cam Gillis, Alex Cotton, Osi Okoji, Bryce Harris, and Cedric Taylor III, who came from Morehouse. I always found that interesting that young man said, "I played 2 years at Morehouse. Let me go to another Black Ivy and play there." And I always wondered about that. From the portal perspective, because all right, so they're talking about UMBC getting trapped in Baltimore because of the we had tornadoes in our area this week. Howard got out of there ahead of time. UMBC did not. So they didn't get out of here until a little while later. And you're not going to find any sympathy from Howard, to be quite honest with you. So hopefully UMBC is not going to use this as an excuse if they lose tonight. But we are about to tip off. And this is Howard has never won a NCAA tournament game. In fact, there aren't many MEAC schools that have won NCAA tournament games. Coppin State, I believe, is the only one that has won multiple, if my math is correct. So, this is a challenge. This is a challenge. And there's Kenny Blakeney, the head coach of the Howard Bison, who, of course, went to Duke. He has used his partnerships, with his network to get Howard a lot of good stuff, in terms of the Nike partnership and different things of that nature. So, why is Howard wearing the road jerseys? Anyway, whatever. So, Howard is in their Bison navy blue, and UMBC is in their white home uniforms. So, we are about to tip this thing on off. If you are watching with us, please let us know. Shouts out to Soldier Rag checking in. This is an intense matchup for my family. My little sister, my mom are HU grads, and my uncle and my little brother are UMBC. And it appears that UMBC won the tap, but there was a little bit of, fumble fingerness on both sides, but UMBC is going to end up with the first possession here. So, like I said, I think Howard is more athletic, but I think UMBC with their three guards are probably going to make them, work a little bit. So Howard probably needs to, and we got a foul in the first 15 seconds. Hopefully these aren't the referees that were at the Winston-Salem State women's game last night. That was a damn travesty. That was one of the most poorly officiated games I have ever watched from a college basketball perspective. And Winston-Salem State and Tierra Terry, they ain't gonna make no excuses. I know they probably think they should have won, but it's hard to win a game when you're going 5-on-8. Those referees last night were terrible. I digress. Anyway, so kid from UMBC misses the first free throw, makes the second, so it's 1-0 UMBC here. Now we get to see Howard's first offensive possession, and Cam Gillis, the point guard, is leading the offense. Spin move to the bucket. Tough layup attempt, but it's off. And UMBC is going back down the floor now. One other thing I'd like to say is that I don't think conference champions from smaller conferences, there's a three-pointer from the gentleman who hit 7 of them in the America East Championship game. So once again, Howard has to account for him. So, I don't think that conference champions from mid-majors and lower major conferences should be in the first four. Like Bruce Pearl was banging the drum for his son's Auburn team. If those jokers wanted to be in the dance, they should have been in 16 versus 16, and it should be a 16 seed from the SEC or the ACC or the Big Ten or what have you. Not a 16 seed from the MEAC, the SWAC, America East, Northeastern Conference. Not even the Coastal. I mean, if you're a conference champion that's not a part of that Power Four money bag, you don't deserve to be in the first four. If you're that big and bad, if you're a Power Four team, you get it in the field. What Big Lotto say? Get in the booth and make it happen. Sergio Taylor III, 6'7", 210 from Atlanta, Georgia. Once again, was an all-SIC player at Morehouse for 2 years. Transferred to Howard. Became a very important part of this Bison offense, averaging 17 points and 7 rebounds a game, and shooting 45% from the field. And his 8 double-doubles led to MEAC this year. Very talented young man. Kenny Blakeney hit that portal, got him, and him and Bryce Harris have been giving teams fits all year. 2 of 2 from the line from Mr. Taylor, and it is 4-2 UMBC with about 1 minute and 13 seconds going in the first half. Soldier Rag says, WSSU got robbed and I'm an Aggie. Absolutely miserable. Oh, wedgie. We love a wedgie. Pause. So that was a pretty good defensive play by Howard there That looked like an easy bucket, but then there was a swat. Who is that? Yeah. So jump ball possession goes to Howard. So they got a chance to tie the game or go in front here. And Taylor goes to the rim and ties it at 4. So Eric A. Dyke, shouts out to him checking in on Facebook. He said, I would like to see Howard and Southern University win their playing games, but I have too much ego pride to wish them success over a 2 or 1 seed in the tournament. Hey, I'm a Delaware State Hornet, but I want both of them. I want all 3 of them. I want Howard, Tennessee State, and Southern to go as far as humanly possible. Like, I can't break. So if UMBC is going to be content to shoot 3-pointers, I mean, the shots don't always fall, so that could be in Howard's favor, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I mean, as a Delaware State guy, I'm an HBCU guy first and foremost all the way. Cedric Taylor the third once again. No, wait, that wasn't him. That was a Koji. He got hammered and somehow got that one in their basket. Like, pow! Got it up. That's a George Gervin finger roll style English on that shot. But anyway, Osi Koji gets the 2. Howard's up 6-4, and they has a chance for a 3-point play. So, I mean, for me, it's HBCU versus everybody. I don't care about, any beef we may have during the regular season. Whoever makes the tournament, go as far as you can. Pull off as many upsets as you can because it's better for us. Meanwhile, it's 7-4 Howard here. Carey, come on, ref, pay attention now. Tell you what, man, Howard's playing some really solid defense right now. This little 2-3 they got going on got UMBC a little bit out of sorts. And here's the Spanish big fella, and he passes out the double. Yep, if UMBC is going to shoot threes all night, I like Howard in this game definitely. Because you got to find a way to get to the buck. You got to find a way out of that zone. Howard's found their way through that zone so far. I mean, I don't know why UMBC can't. Not that we want them to be quite honest with you. I mean, if they want to, pop threes all night and go 13 of 37 or whatever. Oh, what a move by Cedric Taylor III. 9-4 Howard. Soldier rag set. Howard's on a 9-0 run in the last minute 50. So they really are acclimating themselves to Dayton at this point in time. Nope. Again, another 3-pointer. Why is UMBC not going to the basket? And tough shot by Bryce Harris. His body was thrown off a little bit. As strong as he is, you still got to have some balance. Soldier, nope. Let me see. Soldier Rag says, I agree. 3-point shot here? No. I agree. If you win the regular season and if you win the regular season in the tournament, you automatically should be in the field at 64. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because there's no way that any of these teams, I mean, we know these teams are usually probably going to be one and done anyway, but sticking for them in Dayton just feels like really nasty work. I mean, it's greedy. It's absolute greed. It's absolute greed. And I just can't see for any reason that, all right, Taylor gets inside. Got away with a walk there. Shot's no good. So it's 9-6 Howard over UMBC. We're coming up on the under 15 timeout, so we'll have a commercial break in about 30 seconds or so. So we'll get a chance to talk more about, what Howard's been able to do with this program. Oh, almost had a steal there. Valentine to the rim. Tough shot. Makes it. 9-8 Howard now. So the next whistle in about 2-3 seconds, whenever we get a whistle stoppage of play, we'll have the under 15 timeout. So Howard had a good, run there, but I think they started settling for jump shots a little bit. Cam Gillis is tough, man. Strong kid. 11-8 Howard now. Once again, the next whistle we get, We will go to a commercial break. So far, the field goals are working out for Howard. Armstrong again. Good Lord. That lefty is dangerous. So Howard right now is in an interesting space. I mean, they went on that nice run to go up 9-4, and UMBC has outscored them 7-2 since then. So they got to find a way to settle things down, get back into the flow of things. And a three-pointer from Bryce Harris helps. So it's 14-11 Howard with about 14 minutes left in the first half. Yep, there's our whistle. So, and it's Howard ball when we come back out of timeout because UMBC throw it away. So first media timeout, Howard's up 14-11. So yeah, we can talk more about, this whole, and I think the crazy thing is that the people that want to expand the NCAA tournament are not doing it in the best interest of mid-majors and smaller schools, because they're talking about expanding the field to 76. And we all know that those extra 8 schools are not going to come from the MEAC. They're not going to come from the SWAC. They're not going to come from the America East. They're not going to come from the Northeastern Conference. They're not going to come from the Ohio Valley. They're not going to come from the SoCon or the Big South. These other 8 teams are probably going to come from the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC. That's it. That's the list. That's the only reason they're expanding the tournament, because they want to get more big name schools in, despite the fact that the smaller name schools in the upsets are what actually make March Madness great. So I mean, we've experienced this a lot in black college basketball. When I'm trying to think, Alabama State beat St. Francis last year on that Hail Mary pass. We had a live stream for that. We had fun watching that, man. That was a blast. Shouts out to Alexander Wilson checking in. He says, Chris, I personally know a lot of people on the UMBC coaching staff and Howard coaching staff, a lot of DMV guys. I'm torn on who to root for. I'm not going to take away people's rights to root for who they want to root for, but for me, it's HBCU or bust. I mean, in fact, I know 2 people who are UMBC graduates, so I just don't. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm not. It's nothing personal against those 2 guys, but I mean, as an HBCU dude, I mean, for Christ's sakes, I even have on a Howard blue shirt, even though I wear Delaware State red. But it's actually Simeon Auto Museum, one of my favorite auto museums in the country. It's in the Philadelphia area, South Philly to be exact. But it was blue, and it was close enough to the Howard Bison navy blue. I said, let me throw this on. So I'm a Howard Bison for today. I'm absolutely a Howard Bison for today. So, yeah, so drag probably Big East too. Yeah, but those 8 spots that they're talking about adding, those are not for mid majors and smaller conferences. It's not. So nobody should get too excited about it. In fact, people should be angry about it, because it's just greed. It is just greed. Because how many units of NCAA money, NCAA basketball tournament money, does the ACC need? How many units does the Big 12 need? How many units does the SEC need? The Big East might need some, but as far as the group of 4, the football 4, how much money do those jokers need when the television contract is hand over fist money? Doesn't make sense to me. It's just greed. And you're right, Alexander Wilson. Cinderella's not going to happen again if the field expands to 76, because there's just no way. There's just no way. They'll do a first 8. They'll probably call it the early 8 or some BS like that, and they'll all be smaller mid-major schools, and they will suffer. But the SEC, the Big 12, and the SEC, Big 12, ACC, and the Big 10, they'll all get their money. Oh man, nice pass by Taylor just out of Harris's reach. 8 to shoot for Howard. They need to do something quickly. And Travell Bryson for 3. So it's 17-11 Howard. Good start to this game for the Bison. That was a really good offensive possession, even though, they wore the shot clock down. But yeah, it's a 6-point game here. UMBC is going to probably have to figure out, what they want to do. And see, they're already fumble fingered with the ball and then turn it over again. So it's Howard ball again. Travell Bryson is their, leaper, but he can shoot it too. So Oh my God, I hate the NBA play-in. I hate the NBA play-in. It is just so unbearably bad. And I know my team, the Sixers, are going to be there again and probably lose in it again. So it really doesn't matter to me. I mean, the NBA play-in is just the most stupidest thing you could ever think of. But yes, and we got some DMV ties in the room. UMB staff is a Carroll grad. There's a Carroll versus the DeMatha matchup. Yeah, if you're not familiar with the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference from a high school perspective, they get busy in basketball, folks. They do. When I worked I worked as a sports reporter in St. Mary's County, Maryland. And if you are black, never go to St. Mary's County, Maryland. I worked there from 2007 to 2011. There was a school in St. Mary's County called St. Mary's Riken as Okoji gets another bucket to go. It's 1911, Howard. Um, I got to see some Washington Catholic Athletic Conference. In fact, I saw Victor Oladipo power dribble, jump between three guys from the dots and dunk. And I saw Quinn Cook, who had the flu, come off the bench and give the home team a 30 burger. I also saw Chris Jenkins before, that Chris Jenkins, the one who beat North Carolina. I saw Chris Jenkins when he was still the same size as Reggie White. Of course, he slimmed down by the time he got to Nova, but he was like 280, 290 when he was at good counsel. But he could hoop then. So the Washington Catholic Athletic Conference is probably one of the premier high school conferences in the country. So you got Carroll in there, you got DeMatha, who's like the dynasty program. You got Good Counsel, Bishop McNamara, Bishop Ireton, Bishop O'Connell, a couple other schools like that. Elizabeth Seton, a girls only school. So yeah, WCAC gets real active. I'm telling you, man, this dude from UMBC is a killer. It was Gonzaga. I know it was one of the schools that wore purple. It's been so long. I mean, I've been away from St. Mary's County for 15 years now. In fact, that's probably going to be where I start writing my journalism memoir, because that place not only taught me a lot about life, but taught me a lot about, not just about journalism, but about life. But yeah, it's been so long. I mean, I can tell you the day they asked me to leave that place. It was March 31st, 2011. Yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but yes, I'm going to be writing my journalism memoir. This coming fall is going to mark my 25th year in the business, so I'm going to celebrate that by writing my journalism memoir. I'm going to talk about everything I've gone through in the business, including the good times here at HBCU Sports, because this has been a godsend for me. So I'm very much looking forward to sharing that book with y'all as well. So shouts out to Silas Edward McMorris. His Prairie View Panthers will play tomorrow against Lehigh in the first four. I don't know if Ken's doing a live stream for that, but we will definitely be watching. So thanks to Silas for checking in. So yeah, Howard's up 19-13 right now after the under 12 timeout. So right now, that story about Chris Jenkins and Nate Britt was so good. Yeah, there's DMV is like one of the most incredible areas for sports that I can think of. Like, even as an outsider, being on the outside of that for about 3 or 4 years, it just felt like every game had some kind of importance. Like when you go cover a game in PG County, because I've been to the PG Sports and Learning Complex, I've been to Friendly, I've been to a couple other schools in PG County. They take their sports very seriously. Anne Arundel too. Never forget, I went to Old Mill for a 4A boys championship game, and I did not expect that many people to show up on a Saturday at 12 o'clock. That place was sold out. Like, I literally had to wait in line, and I had a media pass. And they didn't have a media, or they didn't have nobody say, "Oh, your media, go in." I literally had to stand in line and just move up every half a step like everybody else. So, I mean, Maryland sports, is very, very serious. DC sports is very serious. And it's disappointing that the Washington Post has just crapped all over their sports department, because those kids and those programs deserve the top-notch coverage that the Post used to give. Now, I don't know where it's going to come from. That reminds me also, this week is Black Media Week. If you're not familiar, there is an ongoing effort it started Monday and it ends Friday, to raise awareness for the Black press. And HBCU Sports is the Black press. Yeah, obviously we cover HBCUs. Everybody that works for this organization is Black. So if you would like to, again, if you'd like to help us keep this thing going, there's the donation QR code in the corner. Put your phone up to it, click it, drop your coins there. You can also go to Cash App, type in $ HBCU Sports. You can also go to the Zelle app, donate at hbcusports.com, or you can go directly to the website, hbcusports.com/donate. Yeah, the football aspect of it, I didn't get to see much football, from the DMV perspective because St. Mary's County always used to be terrible in football, so they never made the playoffs. In fact, the only playoff game I ever saw in my time in St. Mary's County was when Friendly came down to Chopticon, which is located in the northwest corner of St. Mary's County, and Friendly just dominated from start to finish. Matter of fact, Chopticon's folks were so mad they were literally like throwing things at the Friendly folks. So and Friendly just kept running the score up. Like they just kept the quarterback in, they kept the receivers in. Score was 36-10, but it could have been much worse. But they ended up having to stop the game because the St. Mary's folks were so unruly, and the Friendly kids had to get on the bus and get back to Fort Washington. So, okay. UMBC just dropped a 3-pointer, so it's 21-16 Howard now as we come up on 11 minutes to go here in the first quarter, first half. UMBC's 3 of 7 from 3-point range. Howard is 2 for 4. UMBC's relying on the 3 a little too much, but if they're going to knock it down, Howard has to be careful. But if they're not, let them shoot it. Oh. Man, see, Howard is active. Howard is very, very active. Howard is very, very active. And that's going to work in their favor because UMBC is going to have to find a way to match their energy. I mean, I think just taking 3-pointers as much as they are is just showing a little bit of signs of laziness and malaise. Maybe the late flight that affected them, but again, Howard's not going to feel sorry that they got out of there earlier and UMBC waited however long they waited to get on their flight. So, I mean, I don't know if that was a foul, buddy. Many of the local DC local coaches were former Post reporters, created an organization to carry on the All Met section. All Met section was an aspirational sort of thing for me as a reporter. And I never got there, but I've always been a person that I'm not a hater. I'm not a person that's just going. I mean, unless I feel like you're a person who doesn't represent the best of our industry and doesn't have the best interest of our industry, then yes, I'll be a hater. But the All Met page at the Washington Post was just absolutely sensational. I mean, they had some superstars working in those pages and some budding superstars that now have to figure out what the heck they're going to do with their life now that Baldy Bezos has just turned this whole thing into a Trump propaganda machine. Let me stop with the politics, but yeah, hopefully those reporters land on their feet because it's a nasty time for journalism as is. Travell Benson for 3? Hell no, that was way off. Taylor gets the rebound. Where's the foul, buddy? Oh, there it is. The ref on the far side called it. Shouts out to WSSU Ram Nation for checking in. Yeah, it is sick what's happening in our business. It's also sick, again, what happened to Winston-Salem State's women last night. Absolutely diabolical officiating. But yes, Cedric Taylor III is at the line, shooting 2. He's got 6 points. He's 2 of 3 from the field. And first free throw bounces out. So I'm interested to see how HBCU Division II's manage the portal now because, again, Taylor was a kid that played at Morehouse, had a really good 2 years at Morehouse and ended up transferring to Howard. And now if you're an HBCU D2 coach, it's like, what do you say? I mean, granted, if you lose a kid to another HBCU, it's not that bad, but still you're losing a kid. So very interested to see how the D2 HBCUs and the NIA. Well, about time UMBC showed that they can actually break a press. It's 24-22, 24-20 Howard. We are more than halfway through the first half. Bryson with the banker, in and out. And Harris is he getting 2 free throws or is this sideline out of bounds? Baseline out of bounds, excuse me. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how, because schools are getting robbed left and right. Like I can tell you now, there are kids from my area who are already talking about what they're looking forward to the most about the portal, and they just started at one school, and I'm like, okay, all right. It's risky. A good take. King with the reverse layup is 24-22 Howard now. Taylor. Koji gets to put back in one. That's a big basket for Howard. WSSU Ram Nation says our 2023 championship team has several D1 defections. Yeah, it's going to be hard, man. It's going to be hard. So apparently the New York Times has hired a lot of former Post reporters, and guess what they're going to cover? The D.C. area. New York Times covering D.C. sports. Crazy world we live. Oh yeah. Like I can tell you now that because my local instance, my local experiences when I freelanced for a Delaware newspaper for 7 years, they cut the freelance budget because it was too much money to pay freelancers apparently, and now the copy desk is based in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. A paper in Wilmington, Delaware is being copy edited in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Shouts out to Gannett. Cheap bastards. I digress. Okoji thought he had an easy bucket there, but he doesn't. The grass isn't always greener on Soldier Rag, but you have a hard time explaining that to the kids. And more importantly, you have a hard time explaining that to their parents. You have a hard time explaining that to their parents. Because I think the hardest part about being a college coach, a recruiter nowadays, is the parents think they know more about the sport than the people that actually coach it. That is terrifying. That is terrifying. Like you've been coached, you played in college, you coach, you recruit, and then you got a kid's parents saying, "Oh, I don't know if my kid should go here because of this, that, and the third. Oh, I know my kid can get more money here." And it's like, I thought it was about getting your kid an education, the best possible experience for them in college. Hey. Shouts out to Amanda checking in. Yes, it is good evening. She says, I'm not going to be a hater today. I'm rooting for the MEAC to win. So we got an eagle and a hornet rooting for some bison. Go figure. March makes for strange bedfellows. Cedric Taylor back to the line again. Makes the first. You ain't lying, man. And I say this as a millennial. I cover high school basketball locally in Wilmington, Delaware. And let me tell you, some of my peers have real delusions of grandeur about what their kids should be doing and shouldn't be doing, or what they should be getting and shouldn't be getting. And I'm like, y'all, please be serious. Like, your kid is not going D1. There's no shame in going D2, D3, NAIA, as long as somebody is paying for some portion of your education. Because I think people have this misconception that, oh, wow, is Taylor hurt? No, he's fine. Okay. That just because the NCAA is the only one that can offer financial aid. No, you can get financial aid from the NAIA, you get financial aid from JUCOs, and maybe D2 has limited scholarships and D3 doesn't have scholarships, but that's not to say that you can't get financial aid for your schooling, like grants and stuff like that. But people always think that D1 is the way or no way. This Armstrong kid is a pain in the butt. He has been killing it in this first half. Strong kid, too. So Howard's up 28-24. Armstrong will have a chance to complete a three-point play when we come back. We're at the under 8 timeout. But yeah, DJ Armstrong Jr., they got to do something about him. Huey Freeman is doing damage to Howard right now. But yes, it's hard because, I talk to parents a lot, and there are some parents who have the right mindset. Like one parent said, it's been hard because his daughter, she committed to Army, which is a D1. So, she's kind of exempt. he and his daughter are exempt from this conversation. But he's like, he's like, Chris, I see a lot of parents, not really knowing what's up. Can you tell them what's up? And I'll probably do that on my high school basketball show that I have for my high school basketball outlet. Yeah. He's like, you should probably tell people what it takes for a kid to get a look in college these days. I'm like, sure, I can tell you. I'm sure I can tell them. I can tell them now. Better be, you don't have to humble yourself. Well, not humble yourself, but you're gonna have to, take what you can get. Because D1s are not actively recruiting high school seniors anymore. They are not. D2s, yes. D3s, yes. NAIs, yes. JUCOs, always. But D1s are actively looking for kids in the portal now. Actively looking for kids in the portal now. They only accept freshmen if it is like a superstar. And we all know the superstars are going to the Power Fours. So any other freshman kid who's like on the margins, the mid majors, they're like, it's a wins first business. It's a results oriented business. And if a high school senior is not going to get you there, they're not going to recruit them. It's really that simple. So Alexander, I will put it in the chat. It is youtube.com/@First State Hoops Report, because Delaware is the first state, and it just felt like an easier way to call it. So if you guys want to go ahead and give me a sub over there, the show is called Holding Court, and I usually do it once a week, usually on Sundays, because that's the only time I actually have to do it. And I usually talk about all things high school basketball related in Delaware. Amanda says, what happened to us? We used to have common sense. My millennial peers are embarrassing, especially the tail end of millennials. I hate to say it, but the de-emphasizing of education has a bunch of people with adult years on their belt with juvenile brains. It is really that simple. The dumbing down of America has had major consequences. Like there are just some people that you listen to from an adult perspective that are, in their early 40s and late 30s, just saying the absolute most nonsense, and you're like, let me go ahead and just, yeah, okay, whatever, right on. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. But all right, let's see what else you guys are talking about. Coach Moulton, yeah, because remember I had Coach Moulton on the show a while back, a couple of weeks ago, and he said that that NIL thing is what's stripping him up, because he played NC State and they had a $13 million roster. North Carolina Central is not going to have a $13 million basketball roster. As Armstrong makes the free throw and we come back from the timeout, it's 28-25 Howard, 7:40 left to go in the first half, and South Carolina State. Yeah, I thought what Eric Martin said, it's the sad truth of where we've evolved or devolved in college athletics. He said, I don't have NIL money, but I can get you the NIL money if you come here first, which is sad. I mean, I get why he says it, and that's not his fault, but he's being realistic about the situation. And that's really what it boils down to. A Koji for three, count it. So it's 31-25 Howard. Yes. So yeah. I mean, this NIL thing, this paying players thing, it's not something that our schools can or should, sustain. Wow, the big fella hit a three for UMBC. Oh, boy. It's going to be a long game, folks. And granted, Bush is shady for a lot of stuff, but my God, No Child Left Behind has left they got the Lithuanian kid in for Howard now. Tried to hook in the middle, didn't work. But yeah, I just don't, I don't know why people think that being smart is something to be embarrassed about, or, not doing your research, or, being at least actively curious about the world. And that's why we got so many not so bright people in this world today. That should be an N1, but Howard's going to have possession anyway because it's a blocking foul. And Okoji's going to have a chance at the free throw line because UMBC is in the bonus already. Alexander says, I have family who worked in public education. They started to notice reading and writing ability was getting worse in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, it was getting worse in the 80s, but it is god-awful now. I mean, it has gotten much worse. There are people who just don't want to listen to reason or just can't listen to reason. And I mean, I think can't is hard, but people who don't want to, I think that's even worse. As a Koji misses the front end of the 1-1. So UMBC has a chance to cut the lead to 1 or tie with a 3. And there's the 1-point lead. So it's 31-30 Howard, 6:04 left, well, 6 minutes left in the first half. Howard needs a bucket here to kind of sort of, stem the tide a little bit because UMBC has really, started to assert themselves now that they realize that they can't make every 3-point shot. They're finally starting to go towards the basket. Harris misses the 3. Okoji comes down with the rebound, goes to the rim, and he'll have a chance at 3-point play. Osi Okoji, man, like I said, nothing about UMBC's bigs should scare Howard because Okoji's doing whatever he wants in the paint, and he's about 6'5", 180 pounds. So if I'm Howard, I'm really feeling good about the fact that my 6'5", 180-pound power forward is doing whatever he wants on the offensive glass. Yeah, Amanda said, no child left behind, left children and parents behind. True story. Okoji's free throw rims in. So it's 34-30 Howard with about 5:40 left in the first half. Block shot. And Howard is in transition. Cam Gillis to the rim. 36-30 Howard. And UMBC needs a timeout. They need to talk it over, as Mark Zumoff used to say. UMBC's coach said, this is not my team. I feel like we left our legs on the plane. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I mean, you ain't gonna find no sympathy over here, bro. You ain't gonna find no sympathy over here. You just won't. I mean, everybody gets on the floor at the same time eventually. Howard could have had the same problem, but maybe Howard has a little more wealth than UMBC. Shout out to them Howard Bison, man. One of my favorite fan bases, one of my favorite alumni groups to, interact with. Because even though they are kind of bougie, they are very, proud of their school, and they should be. Howard was one of my favorite places to stop as a student reporter way back in the day, because shout out to my guy Curtis Tarver of 80 minutes of regulation. He says, our feeds aren't quite lined up, but popping into support, I'm usually down for the cause. But tonight, Curtis is one of those UMBC alums that I mentioned at the outset. And, he's a very proud retriever, and I expect him to be a proud retriever. So, but I appreciate him checking in, though. I definitely appreciate him checking in. So, yeah, Howard was one of my favorite places to stop as an undergrad reporter because I love the Burr. I think the Burr is still one of the best, intimate atmosphere gymnasiums, not just in HBCU basketball, but in college basketball, period. I love the Burr. And those of us who have been to Howard before, they know about the McDonald's across the street on Florida Avenue, buddy. Man, that McDonald's has seen some things. I mean, I know they've changed it over the years, but back when I was in undergrad, that McDonald's was an adventure every single time, baby. I mean, you never know who or what you would see walking across the street to that McDonald's. Great memories. Great memories. But yes, Howard was one of my favorite places to stop. Green Stadium, it was kind of rinky dink, but it was still a fun place to watch football. Walking across the yard was always fun, and the ladies, respectfully. That was the first time I'd ever known that black people lived in Colorado, because a buddy of mine who worked at Howard introduced me to a girl who was from Denver, Colorado. One of the most beautiful black women I had ever seen in my life. I was like, we out there in Colorado? It was just like one of those things. But yeah, man, it's like, Howard was always one of my favorite places to, stop. So I'm absolutely rooting for them. Absolutely rooting for them tonight. So it's 36-30 Howard. We have we're under 4 minutes left and in the first half. And Howard, they've played their game. I mean, they have not, deferred from what they have been good at all year long. Granted, I think that UMBC is probably going to, use this halftime. You must be one of those people that is betting, gambling your life away. I promise we don't care. This ain't the stream for you. Go away. The better team is when you leave. Go away. That being said, Howard is up 36-30. Um, you know, I'm sorry, that threw me off, man. I'm gonna rant about this really quickly and then I'm gonna move on. The gambling thing has really pissed me off because people really think we really care about your money line and your parlays as journalists. We don't. We don't. So if you think that you're going to get, +7 or, odds and evens and all of that crap, go away. This is not the stream for you. Chris, the craziest thing is there were more in the McDonald's in DC that were more wild than the one at Howard. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. That was just the one that stuck out to me the most because I was over there a lot when I would go to Howard. I used to go to Howard for because our professor at journalism at the time was the legendary Dwayne Wickham, who was a USA Today columnist for many years. He was my journalism professional at Delaware State, and he would take us to these different journalism conferences and different things of that nature. And we went to and Howard was hosting a journalism job fair at one time. So, I spent a lot of time in Howard over my years as a young man and always loved that school. So I'm definitely rooting for them tonight. WSSU Ram Nation is hilarious. Much better game called than last night so far. And he said, now I did think one MEAC team was point shaving. Oh, big 3-pointer. Osi Okoji is cooking in this first half. 39-30 Howard with about 4 minutes left. So the big fella, even though he's not really a big fella, but he's Howard's big fella, is doing damage to UMBC right now. Who was point shaving? I didn't get to see the MEAC tournament because who was point shaving? It wasn't Delaware State. Because I know I know Stan Waterman. Shout out to my guy Stan Waterman. He was working hard. That team was working hard for every point they got this week. They tried so hard, and I think they got robbed by the refs in that Central game. I digress. But yeah. So you yelled first, champ. You said, man, who's the better team? And I gave you an answer. The better team is when you leave. Get out. Dang, UMBC missed both free throws. And we got a foul on UMBC, so Howard's going to have a chance to, make this lead, expand his lead to about double digits here. It's 4:09 left in the first half, 39-30 Howard. Howard does not look like a 16 seed right now. We know they're not a 16 seed, but we know how the NCAA works. So Bryce Harris is at the line, the MEAC Player of the Year. We missed all of last year with a foot injury. He could have transferred somewhere else, but he said, no, I want to stay here and finish things strong at Howard. And he finished strong with the Player of the Year award. And I don't know what his pro prospects are because there aren't that many 6'4", 220 small forwards in the NBA. I mean, shouts out to Adrian Dantley, but I mean, that was 35 years ago. So more than 35 years ago, to be honest with you. It was 40 years ago when Adrian Dantley was doing his damage. So I don't know what Bryce Harris pro prospects look like, but I mean, I think he's a kid you take a chance on. I mean, he's tough, he's strong, he's quick. He's not going to jump over you, but, he uses his body to his advantage. And, I mean, leverage still matters in basketball. So I think Bryce Harris deserves a shot at somebody's NBA training camp or at least a G League spot. Man, UMBC is just not hitting the shots. And Howard, credit to them, they're crashing the boards very, very well. Yeah, I don't think UMBC is a 16 either, Curtis. I don't. He said neither one of these teams belong in the opening round game, and I guess one happy that one will claim a tournament W. Yeah, again, if you are a Power 4 team, it should be your behinds in the play-in. Not a MEAC team, not an America East team, not a Northeast Conference team, not an OVC, not a Big South, not a SoCon. If you are SEC, Big 12, Big 10, ACC, get in the booth, B. Get it in the field. Get in the field and make it happen. If y'all as good as y'all say y'all are. DC, Northwest, Georgia Avenue. Yeah, Ruben, man. Woo! Boy, I tell you, making that turn on the Georgia Avenue, boy, that you never know what you would see over there. I swear. I swear. But yeah. Um, WSSU Ram Nation says he thinks Bryce Harris will play overseas. His athleticism has a ceiling, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, if he was 6'9", 220, he would probably get more looks, but he's 6'4", 220. And again, 6'4" small forwards went out with the 5 mile per hour bumper. If you got, I'm a car guy, so I know I always talk about things in that kind of context. If you guys are not familiar, there was a point in United States history when car bumpers used to be kind of slim, but in the 70s they created this thing called the 5 mile an hour bumper, and it was designed to stop car crashes from being lethal. I mean, we still have lethal car crashes today, but the 5 mile per hour bumper is apparently supposed to stop that. But yeah, that went out of style. The 5 mile per hour bumper, took place in the 70s, and that's the last time we had 6'4" small forwards in professional basketball. So yeah, So Bryce Harris is athletic. He's not big enough, but we've seen smaller players make an impact in why did I say WNBA? Probably because I'm excited that the WNBA is actually going to be able to come to an agreement. I want the WNBA players to get every dime, by the way. If they got to strike to get it, so be it. But if they get the money that they're owed and they're okay with the CBA negotiations, I hope they get their money, because I enjoy the WNBA greatly. I would like to see our girls, get more WNBA looks. I mean, Diamond Johnson got screwed last year by Cheryl Reeve of the Minnesota Lynx. That's why I was actively rooting against the Minnesota Lynx, because Diamond Johnson signed a contract with them, and Cheryl Reeve didn't even put her in a preseason game. So I was actively rooting for the Minnesota Lynx's downfall last year, and it made me feel so good when the Phoenix Mercury knocked them off in the semifinals. Anyway, no, it was the first round. I'm sorry, but yeah. Soldier Rag said, funniest moment right now. My son asked me who I was going for. Then he said, I'm going for the black team because my skin is black. Black rules. Right on, young man. Absolutely. Even though Howard's wearing a shade of blue, but that's fair. WSSU Ram Nation said, I just can't be slinging no accusations out here. This ain't no burner account. Fair. Fair is fair. Sutton makes 2 free throws and is 43-30 Howard with 3:42 left in the first half. I think that's our last media timeout, if I'm not mistaken. Howard has outscored UMBC 12-0 in the last 2 minutes. So very much a strong first half for Howard. How much of that has to do with UMBC being tired, we don't know. I mean, we're not really worried about it, but King just knocked down a 3-pointer to pull them back within 10. So this last 3 minutes is going to be very, very important for UMBC. Can they eat into this lead, or can Howard expand it? That's going to be Bryson drops the bucket in, so it's back to 12. So UMBC has to find a way to get some stops and some buckets, or Howard's going to run away with this. Because I've seen this movie before. Twice against Delaware State, as a matter of fact. So, Howard is a team that plays very well with the lead. As you can see, their defense is all over the court. Yeah, UMBC does not know what to do right now. King with the layup. Back down to 10. See, here go Amanda with the Eagle versus Aggie beef. I don't. What James Brown say on doing it to death? That's not my business. I let that brother handle his business with the horns down there. He get down there when he handle his own business. So I'm not getting into this Aggie Eagle thing at all. I avoid conflict whenever necessary. Oh, nice finish. N1. That kid is skinny though. That boy needs some muscle. Apparently, this kid is a freshman, so his best ball is ahead of him. That was a strong finish. 6'8", 195. If he can get that up to about 210, 215, he'll be a problem. makes the free throw. So it's 45-38, Howard, with about sorry, man. As a Las Vegas Aces fan, it's on site. It's on site. Now, this is some beef I can invest in. It is Asia Wilson till the death of me. The best player on the planet. And I'm not taking anything away from Fee. Oh, alley-oop. There we go. There's some Showtime. Shouts out to Curtis. He says, I need updates. Showtime versus Down and Dirty Dog Band. Showtime needs no introduction, but yeah, people sleep on Down and Dirty Dog Band. I do wonder, I mean, it's not football, but I would like, to see some Battle of the Bands type stuff during basketball season. It would be nice. Howard is up 9 with about a minute left. Harris, jumper. Gillis is tough, man. Whew. I can't wait to put the mute on halftime because I hate Bruce Pearl. Whenever Bruce Pearl fails, it does my heart so much good. Like, that half-assed effort to get his son's team in NCAA tournament didn't work. I was like, oh my God, justice still exists in this world. That was a nice alley-oop from Howard, and Travell Bryson is their leaping specialist, and he definitely finished that thing on strong. I'll tell you, man, this Armstrong kid, we gonna know his name by the end of the night. I mean, they already know it now. He's got like 20 in the first half. Missed the free throw though, so we're under a minute left now in the first half. Howard is up 47-39. Very high scoring game here. A little bit out of the norm for what I would expect from a first 4 game. That just tells you how good Howard's offense has been. Shot clock under 10 now. They got to do something. Harris to Bryson. Fade away in the corner. That's a tough shot. And he made it, though. 49-39. This is a kid who's a sophomore, I believe, or a freshman. That was a tough shot. I mean, that's not the shot you want with the shot clock running down, but he made it. Made it look easy, too. I think either Kenny Blakeney or UMBC called his timeout. Either way, it's 49-39 Howard with about 20 seconds left in the first half. So, halftime, again, I'm not listening to Bruce Pearl. So, I would love to know, what you guys want to talk about at the half, because we can do that for about 10 or 15 minutes until the teams come back out to the locker room. And Amanda is furious. See, it's HBCU versus everybody, man. It's HBCU versus everybody. That's why I was outraged when Winston-Salem State's women got the shaft, no pun intended, against IUP yesterday. That was some really horrible basketball being called by the officials. And then we saw that the IUP girl pushed the Winston-Salem State player on the inbounds pass that ended up being a turnover. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's a foul anywhere in the country. It's foul anywhere in Europe. It's foul anywhere in Asia. It's foul in Australia too. If they had basketball in Antarctica, it'd be a foul too. But, nothing to be ashamed of from Winston-Salem State for their first time in the tournament in the women's program and making it to the Sweet 16, man. Tierra Terry's a rock star. I mean, so the UMBC gets a bucket at the buzzer. So it's 49-41 Howard at the half, and that kid, he must have gotten hit in the face. Let's see. Yeah, he must have got scratched in the head a little bit. It must have been like, that incidental contact type thing. But either way, it's 49-41 at Howard at the half. So we will put this thing on mute so I don't have to listen to Bruce Pearl. And we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about in the intro. So, yeah, going back to that, Winston-Salem State game last night, I just found that to be just horrible. But I think that what Tierra Terry's been able to do in 1 year, she's going to get kids. I know the WSS Ram Nation said he was worried about keeping the team together, but they're going to look at players are going to look at what she's done And I can tell you, there are probably a few unhappy, dissatisfied Division One players who would love the chance to go play at a Division Two and win a national championship. And that's something that Winston-Salem State's women can say they can offer now. Yeah, Amanda's right. They just showed that dunk again. That wasn't a foul. He hit him on that. He must have. He brushed his hair. He didn't slap him on the head. He brushed his hair. That wasn't a foul. But anyway, Howard's up 49-41 at the break. So, yeah, I think Winston-Salem State, their women's program is in good shape. They'll, be able to get kids, get girls. I think, and this is just a personal opinion, and I'm not trying to take anything away from the young ladies that played, but I think what Coach Terry needs to go hunting for this offseason is a scoring big. That she needs a girl that's like 6'1", 6'2", that can get you about 10 or 15 a game, somewhere thereabouts. If she can go get one of them, then I think Winston-Salem State is one of the favorites to win the whole thing in Division II next year. I really do. So, see, Soldier Rag starting some stuff. She is not leaving her alma mater, bro. As long as she has been dreaming for that job, she is not leaving, especially not after the first year. Not a chance. That is her home. She played there. And to tell you how old we are, how old I am anyway, I found out recently that Coach Terry's father is Delaney Rudd. That may not mean nothing to you, but when I was collecting basketball cards as a young man, Delaney Rudd's NBA Hoops card always seemed to be in every pack I would get. And this is back when he was playing for the Utah Jazz in the early 90s. I mean, that's random, but it just made me think like, damn, we are getting old, man. Just think about it. I mean, it was so funny to see the AJ English from Virginia Union at the Delaware High School State Basketball Championships the other weekend. So, he went to Howard High School of Technology, who won the boys basketball championship, before he went to Virginia Union. So he was there supporting Howard. And it was like, wow, AJ English has gray hair now. That's not the AJ English I remember. But again, AJ English is 58 years old. So, I mean, we all get old, but it's just funny to think about it. NBA players, players and athletes and people we grew up watching and cheering for and rooting for, they old. I mean, they get old. I mean, and we get old behind them. I mean, Kiki Shepard passed away the other day. How many of us watched Showtime at the Apollo, man? How many of us watched Showtime at the Apollo? So, I mean, Kiki Shepard passing away was a shock. And she was one of the first real deal, beautiful, dark-skinned women I had seen on my television as a kid. And, she was regal and everything. I mean, it's just like, man, everybody gets old, yo. Everybody gets old, bro. And it's just, I mean, I guess it's better than the alternative, but it just makes you think that you really got to sort of, take advantage of the years that you get and the days that you get and even the seconds that you get, because you never know. You never know. But yeah. Hold on, Soldier Rag. Is there something that we are not privy to? Is there an opening at a little school in Durham? Is there something that I'm not aware of? As the ladies in the LGBTQ family say, what's tea? Oh yeah, y'all good then. WSSU Ram Nation says our leading scorer last night was a freshman. Yeah, y'all in good shape. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm just doing a little advanced scouting. But yeah, if Coach Terry can get a big that can score, Winston-Salem State's in business for a national championship next year. I firmly believe that. I went to school with Terry. Yeah. So WSSU Ram Nation. Yeah, yes, she did, man. That's probably why I was so shocking. I mean, I didn't even know she had sickle cell. I mean, I know the official cause of death was a sudden heart attack, a severe heart attack, but I didn't even know she was sick. I mean, she still looked good at 74 years old. But again, you never know, man. You never know. Just Count the days, count your blessings as your days go, man. It's really that simple. Because you never know. You could be here one day and the next minute you're not. That's the way of the world. That's life, man. Amanda says Soldier Rag don't know nothing. So I'm gonna err on the side of caution and agree with and believe what the Aggie says. I don't think Central is moving on from Coach Baxter. I don't think they should either. I think he's doing a good job with what he has, but you know. And I just learned it now, as you just said it, Silas. I didn't know that Kiki Shepard went to Howard. But so yeah. Man, it's crazy. But yeah, I hopefully, her family, is being lifted up at this time. And we all just, it's showtime at the Apollo. Steve Harvey with his appendage and his loud suits and the Sandman and all of that. Yeah, man. Black culture is undefeated. That's why we need to be protective and gatekeepery of this thing as possible. That's why I think, even though people were making fun of Jack Harlow saying he got blacker on his album, we don't need to meme that dude. We don't need to meme that dude and give him ammunition to be, what he thinks he's going to be. Like, let's lift up the black artists that are doing the music that he's attempting to do. What's the say? Yeah, that women's team was a buzzsaw this year. That women's team was absolutely a buzzsaw. Oh, damn. Well, if it's coming from Live for Hoops, then I believe it. Whoa. Whoa. I believe it. Amanda, I'm still trying to figure out this new software because we moved from StreamYard to something called Restream. So we're all still trying to figure out this software. So I can't right now, but hopefully in the future I'll be able to. But for tonight, I don't want to risk throwing the program off. But hopefully we can at some point start taking calls. I think once we get settled down from football and basketball season, Ken Rashad is really gonna walk us through this whole thing, because we had to get off of StreamYard because StreamYard was going to start charging the organization like 75% increase, and there's no way that we should be paying 75% extra of anything for anything. So we found Ken found StreamYard, and we're still working through it. But hopefully at some point we can start taking calls. But hey, man, I tell people all the time, Liv Antia is a bleeping phenomenon. Like, if she wants to, and I know that she's a FAMU grad, she loves HBCU basketball, and she's damn good at what she does. But I could legitimately see her up there with Andrea Carter, Shanae Agumake, and Christine Williamson on women's college basketball on ESPN. She's that good. She's that good, but she gives so much to our space that we can't afford to lose her. Hopefully, she stays with covering HBCU basketball for as long as we can have her, because that would be wonderful. Because she's our Carolyn Peck, basically. She's our shucks, who am I thinking about? It's another black woman I'm thinking about. But yeah, Liv is great. Liv is great at what she does. And if she says that Terrence Baxter's out, then doggone it, I have no choice but to believe her, because she does not half step. No, this damn TV did not. Hold on, y'all. Okay, we're back. Sorry. You gotta love technology. But yeah, so there's an opening in the MEAC. I'm actually, fortunately, I'm crossing my fingers that there isn't an opening at Delaware State either, because I think Jazz Turner deserves a fairer shot. I mean, she just got named full-time head coach a year ago. Because if you guys are not familiar with the story, I've told this story before, but if you're new to the MEAC More, I am a Delaware State alum, and I follow the university very closely, as I should. So DSU had a women's basketball coach named E.C. Hill, and for some strange reason, she just kind of sort of stopped showing up. And she had to, she ended up vacating the job, and Jasmine Turner was her assistant, and Jazz was named interim head coach for the rest of that season and the following season, and then she was named full-time head coach beginning of last year. And so this was her second season as full-time head coach. So I think she deserves a fair shot because, and again, Delaware State has the same problem that every other HBCU has. The NIL thing just ain't what it is, at least not for basketball. Football, I think we're going to have a come to Jesus about that. Granted, what Coach Jackson has brought to our football program and our university is great, but that money's got to trickle down to the other programs at some point because we've had a hard time in every sport this year. Not football, basketball. The women's soccer team actually did well, but our women's lacrosse team might as well be non-existent, which is so funny because I'm actually thinking about going to cover the game when they play Howard next Wednesday. But yeah, it just feels like that money that is being spent on football is not being spent everywhere else in the athletic program, and you can't sustain a program like that. This is a problem that a lot of HBCUs are going to face in the near future. So we need to really be mindful of what this money situation looks like, because we are not going to compete with the Ohio States, with the Stanfords, with the North Carolinas, with the South Carolinas, with the Ole Misses, with the Floridas, the U's, and all of that. That ain't our game. That is above our pay grade, literally. So we're gonna have to figure out where we fit in this college landscape in terms of athletics and can still remain competitive without bankrupting our institutions. And you know what's funny, Soldier Rag? I use StreamYard for everything else, and StreamYard is not worth that much of an increase. Granted, I'm not an organization. I'm just an individual user. But charging a media organization, what is it, a 75% increase to use the software, it don't make no sense. And Ken was smart to get us off of that platform. It's like, yo, we don't have that type of money to burn, dog. Like, what are y'all thinking about? Like, and y'all mess up half the time. StreamYard is, this restream thing is going off without a hitch though. So it's a little more nuanced. So we still have to figure out some things, but as you can tell, we haven't lost our stream. I have not lost connection. So you can tell the StreamYard's actually doing the job very well. So, but yeah. So if you guys are just tuning in, this is the MEAC More live stream with your boy Chris Stevens. We are watching together the Howard versus UMBC first four game. Howard is up 49-41 at the break. And Howard, it's been a helter-skelter first half for them, but at the same time, they've played their style of ball. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what these first 5 minutes in the second half look like, because UMBC started to get their legs at the end of the first half. So, as the great Chennis Berry likes to say, oh man, we talk about that middle eight all the time. It's the end of the first. It's the first four. It's the end of last 4 minutes in the end of the first half. First 4 minutes in the beginning of the second half, and that middle eight is going to tell you how your ball club is going to go. So yeah, that last four for UMBC looked really good. So this first four in the second half is really going to be interesting, because if they can eat into this lead or even take a lead, how does Howard respond? So we're going to have to find out how that goes in the future. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how the coaching landscape in basketball changes in the MEAC and SWAC, because I know Bethune-Cookman just released their women's coach. Who else? Was there any other opening? I think that's the only other opening that's open at the moment. So we have 2 openings at Division I. We have Bethune-Cookman women and now North Carolina Central women. So there are two schools who probably don't fit into their conference races very well, but they still got to find a way to compete. So be interesting to see who takes those jobs. I just hope that neither one of these schools feels the need to, bring in a name brand, because I don't think that, and I really hope the CIAA schools are not going to entertain the forgive me if I'm doing this because I just have to do this because fun is fun, and I'm a fun kind of guy. But I do hope that we're smart about who we let into our spaces because not everybody needs to be in our spaces, to be quite honest with you. And that includes hiring a coach or potentially hiring a coach with the problems that one Lamar Odom has had. I mean, y'all may not like this, but I don't think we need a coach. I'm sorry. I'm having too much fun with this. I'm trying to add this stuff. Anyway. All right, back to the screen. I was trying to be funny, but it didn't work. So now where am I? Holy crap. All right, back to the screen. I'm sorry. I was trying to be funny, but I couldn't add the let's talk about this because actually, Amanda, I agree with you 100%. Confession, and she puts in parentheses, I don't care if you judge me. I agree with gatekeeping with our culture. I don't like it when I see non-Black Americans serving as drum majors at our HBCUs. Those positions should be reserved for us only. I don't care how anyone feels about my statement. You won't get a disagreement from me on that, on anything. I mean, it's so funny because HBCUs have always been more welcoming than PWIs. It's so funny because Nikki Haley, who is an Indian woman doing the grunt work for white supremacy and fascism, her parents were professors at South Carolina State in Claflin. Do you think South Carolina would have taken her parents? Do you think Clemson would have taken her parents? Furman? Charleston Southern? The Citadel? No, it was an HBCU who let her parents become professors. And it's mind-boggling to me. It's so funny. I'm going to say this really quickly and get off the political stuff because I know Ken's going to say, Chris, no political stuff. But white people, they deserve credit for one thing and one thing only. And that is brainwashing everybody into thinking that Black people are the world's problem. Because I'll never understand how Eastern Indian folks and Asian folks and Latinos can swear that Black people are the cause of all the world's ills. But Black people, we don't do concentration camps. We don't do internment camps. We don't redline. We're the victims of all of this crap. But yet somehow we are the demons of the world. And that's what white people have convinced other races of. Successfully. That's what trips me out. They actually believe this junk. And yes, Soldier Rag, Albert Einstein was a professor at Lincoln in Pennsylvania. So WSSU Ram Nation, thank God. He says Lamar Odom isn't going to be Winston-Salem State's coach. He just happened to show at our alumni events at CIAA. Please, let him stay there. Please. Just don't let him be on the sidelines. If he just wants to come to the parties, that's fine. Just don't come. Just don't be on the sidelines. Amanda says we are too welcoming, and that's why we don't have anything to call our own. You are absolutely correct. We got to stop handing out these cookout invites. Stop handing out these cookout invites. Not everybody needs an invite to the cookout. Nobody should even know what a cookout is or where it is. So let's stop inviting people to the cookout who don't need to know what a cookout is or where the cookout is. That being said, we are about to start the second half of action here. WSSU ran it. She says, "Will him at Sit-Go on MLK." I guess that's a Winston-Salem, North Carolina hotspot of sorts. I'll let him explain that if he chooses to, but yes. Second half action is about to get underway here. Howard leads UMBC. We're going to look at the first half stats. Howard is 13-16 from the free throw line, which is really good. They're shooting 52% from the field. UMBC, of course, is living and dying by the three. They're 5 of 12. Howard is beating them on the boards, 21-14. And in the second chance points, 8-2. And in the paint, 22-14. So it was Jordan Kent. I forgot this guy's name. I'm so sorry. HMA Black play-by-play guys. I need to know his name, but yeah. Jordan Kent is the play-by-play guy, and Jim Sparnarkel, who played at Duke back in the day and was one of the first, draft picks of the Dallas Mavericks. Why I know all of this stuff, I don't know. I'm just a history buff. It's just his career with the Sixers. He didn't play much, so that's why they let him go in the expansion draft to Dallas in 1980. But so DJ Armstrong Jr. has been a pain in the butt for Howard so far in this first half. He actually only has 9 points. It felt like he had more, but if he really gets cooking, UMBC can get back in this ball game. So that's going to be the key. Yeah, man, I'm going to figure this out so we can start accepting calls. Like I said, Ken will probably have to, really go through a sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for here? I can't think of the word, which is bugging me right now. But yeah, whatever it is. I mean, we've all had to sit through them at work. Not a training. I mean, the training is one thing, but yeah, there's another word aside from training that I'm thinking of. So if you guys can think of it in the chat, leave it in the chat. King with the jumper to start us off here. It's 49-43 Howard. That dude is skinny as hell, but he gets in the paint and doesn't duck any wreck. He's 12 points right now, 5 of 10 from the field. Koji on the right wing. Passes into Taylor, who is briefly double teamed. Okogie for 3. Bang. Osi Okogie, man, he is rocking and rolling right now. 19 points for him. 52-43 Howard. That's one word, yeah. That's one word, Soldier Rag, boot camp. Yeah, we're probably going to have to do like a restream boot camp to really figure all of this out. Oh, man. Oh, he missed it. I thought it went in. Sorry. Well, we're happy it didn't go in. Another three-pointer. That's off. Rebound to Koji. Misses, and puts it back in. 54-43. Howard's back up double digits. Oh, that was actually Harris on the layup. Soldier Rag, WSSU Ram Nation leading the news for all the news for. Former Laker and Winston-Salem State basketball coach was picked up in a police operation. Lord have mercy. Whew. He says, WSSU Ram Nation says he does need to get sober for a few years and then become an assistant. I can tell you what, while Lamar Odom has his problems, I can guarantee you he would not pull up to Winston-Salem State demanding that somebody clean his office. Remember that, folks? Remember when Ed Reed hadn't officially signed his contract as Bethune-Cookman football coach and went in there like Joe Clark at Eastside High? Good times. That gave us a lot to talk about. But it ended up working out for Bethune-Cookman because Ray Woody Jr. is a proud Wildcat, and he's led that team to a 500 record. I think they could compete in the SWAC East next year. I still think it's between Jackson State and Alabama State for sure, but I think Bethune-Cookman can make it uncomfortable for both of those teams. Cedric Taylor the third, 2 of 2 from the line. It's 56-45 Howard at 18-16. Amanda says she's I'm 2 seconds from leaving the cookout because y'all keep letting people in. Now there are raisins in the potato salad. Lord have mercy. Raisins do not belong in potato salad. Now, if you tell me they belong in oatmeal cookies, absolutely. Let's talk real quick. While we're watching the game, the best cookie is a soft oatmeal raisin cookie. I don't make the rules. 3-pointer from King. Man, he is cooking. 56-48 Howard. But yeah, oatmeal raisin cookie is the best cookie, especially if it's soft and warm right out of the oven. A soft chocolate chip cookie is a close second. But granted, if you're from the DMV, I understand why y'all go up for snickerdoodles, man. I went to Iverson Mall once upon a time, got me some snickerdoodles. I was like, boy, I get it now. The snickerdoodles are actually pretty good. But I'm an oatmeal raisin fan myself. All right, King had a little trouble handling the ball there, but once he got it squared up, knocked it down. So Howard turns it over. UMBC has possession. Missed the shot. Koji with another rebound. Gillis to the hole, gets hammered, no call, still makes the layup. 58-48 Howard. I didn't understand until I went. I mean, I was a little nervous walking up in the Iverson Mall because Iverson Mall, boy. If you think the Georgia Avenue McDonald's is tough, boy, that Iverson Mall ain't no joke either. But yeah, them snickerdoodles hit. They absolutely hit. Make no mistake about it. Gillis to the rim again, gets it blocked out of bounds. Yeah, Gillis got hacked. No call. I mean, that was a whole lot of body and still managed to make the layup. Kick ball. So it'll still be Howard possession. I love bacon. Like I make a good pound cake. I've shared the recipe before, but if anybody's interested in a recipe, you can find me on the Twitter machine at CJ Writes and Things, or if you want to email me, it's Chris Stevens Writes. That's my full name, ChrisStevensWrites at gmail.com, and say, hey, Chris, I heard you talking about your cream cheese pound cake recipe. Can we get the recipe? As Bryce Harris knocks down the three-pointer and UMBC calls a timeout. 61-48 Howard with 16:21 to go in the second half. So, yeah, I love bacon. You know the one thing that I can't bake, and it hurts me that I can't, is cinnamon rolls. I love a good cinnamon roll, and I can't do it. I can't get them down. Like every time I try to make cinnamon rolls, them joints come out like sweetened fortune cookies. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's irritating. Very, very irritating. But I can make everything else. I can make, peach cobbler. I can make brownies. I can make blondies. I can make apple crumb cake. I can make pound cake, but I can't make cinnamon rolls. Like, that's the one thing. If I can make cinnamon rolls, then I know I would be dangerous. That means I could stop going to the store entirely for sweets, which is great. Because I don't know about y'all. You know how some people have a sweet tooth? I got 32. I love sweets. And I'm trying to, wean myself off of them now because I got 40 pounds I want to drop for my birthday. My birthday is September 25th. So I got 6 months to drop 40 pounds. And then nothing crazy is going to happen when I drop this weight. I think I'm just going to, just enjoy the fact that I'm 40 pounds lighter. That's about it. Maybe shoot my shot with some, lovely ladies in my area. I may do that, but that's about it. Nothing too serious. Just want to drop 40 pounds so I can feel better about myself. So yeah, I'm trying to, get myself off of the sweets kick, but it's hard, man. It's hard. I love, cookies, cake, pies, all kinds of sugary cereals. Got to find my way off of that. Because if I can drop this last little 40, I know I'm going to be doing something. But yes. Again, sorry for those of you who came here for a basketball discussion if you're new. But yeah, we are talking basketball. It is the first four. It's Howard versus UMBC in the first four. Of course, we are watching Howard. They're up 61-48. It's about 16:21 left in the second half. So if Howard, I told you the first 5 minutes were going to be important. If UMBC could eat into the lead, Howard should be a little nervous. But Howard has actually been +5, coming out of the locker room. So UMBC's got to find a way to make a run and get some stops. But if they don't, Howard's probably going to walk away with this thing. Then they can start thinking about Michigan. I would love for them to beat Michigan, by the way. I don't know if they can, but it would be nice. I'm rooting for Prairie View tomorrow against Lehigh. Lehigh ain't playing Duke. They playing Prairie View. And I think Prairie View is owed one because of the way the Celebration Bowl ended. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I am not sure to this day that was a 2-point conversion. I'm not. I know the plane of the goal line extends, but how far is it supposed to extend? Because that young brother was, he was in he was in Conyers somewhere. And they still gave him the 2-point conversion for some reason. So I think Prairie View is owed one. So I hope they beat Lehigh tomorrow in the first four. So we're out of the timeout now. Howard's up 61-48. UMBC crosses half court. Of course you do, Adrian Crook. We wouldn't expect anything less from a Southern guy. He says, I hope PV lose. But here it's HBCU versus everybody. And yes, tomorrow we will be Prairie View Panthers. That Armstrong dude is a pain in the butt. My goodness. Like, how does he keep getting open? 12 points for him, 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 5 from the free throw line, from the free-point line, 10-point lead for Howard now. We're closing in on the under 15 timeout, so this is a key possession for Howard. If they can get a bucket here and keep UMBC from getting closer, and that's what Bryce Harris does. Again, if Bryce Harris was 6'9", he would be an NBA draft pick. But yeah, like WSSU Ram Nation says, he's probably ticketed for overseas somewhere. How's that a foul? Looked like that was a clean. Looked like that was a clean strip. Anyway, Harris is strong, man. I mean, he's just not big enough, but he's strong as all get out. And yep, that is our under 15 timeout. So it is 63-51 Howard at this point. So like I said, that first 5 minutes was going to be key. Could UMBC get into the lead? They haven't yet. So Howard is playing a really good ball game right now. If I'm Michigan, I'm watching this game very, very closely. And you know, this took a lot for Amanda to say. Well, not really a lot, but I mean, as a North Carolina Central Eagle, there's heat there with South Carolina State. But she said, as a member of the MEAC, Prairie View was cheated. Yeah, I still don't know. I mean, I'd have to look at it again, but that young brother looked to be somewhere near the border, some doggone where. Amanda said, Crook stop lines, though all he do is lie. Chris Dukes. So yeah, Jackson. Yeah, so those are that's the Jackson State contingent Amanda is referencing. So shout out to Carlton Locker checking in. Yes, this is a Howard University fan page for the evening, and we are excited that they are up 12. It is 63-51 Howard at the under 15 timeout. And Soldier Rag says, looks like UMBC didn't eat their Wheaties this morning. Maybe they didn't have time for that late flight. Sorry. But yeah, this is an HBCU-centric podcast, and we are not in the business of charity. We are in the business of winning. So hopefully UMBC can find their legs, or maybe they don't. But yes, Howard is. I mean, again, you take away some of the turnovers and the fouls, Howard has played a spotless ball game. I mean, everybody is contributing. You've got Harris scoring. You've got Okoji scoring. You've got, Cam Gillis doing Cam Gillis things. Travell Bryson has given him minutes off the bench. This is why Howard was the favorite to win the MEAC from the start. I mean, they had a couple of tough losses, but they ended up righting the ship at the right time. So the vet was not condemned, Adrian. Was it? So my question is, this is more of a SWAT question, obviously, even though this is the MEAC More. What is Jackson State supposed to do? Because that's not their problem. They don't own the vet. The state of Mississippi owns the vet. It's the job of the state of Mississippi to get that sugar honey iced tea up to code, not Jackson State. And if you won't give Jackson State the money for on-campus stadium, where are they supposed to play a football game? Because I can tell you now, Southern Miss ain't opening up for them. Ole Miss ain't opening up for them. Mississippi State ain't opening up for them. I don't even think Delta State would open up for them. So what is Keith Gill? That's a familiar name. So is Dan Gavitt. Dave Gavitt. His dad was the commissioner of the Big East for a long time. And don't forget, folks, Charles McClellan sits on the committee as well. Charles McClellan is a power broker. Probably the best. It's between him and the CIAA's commissioner, Jackie McWilliams Parker, as the best two. Well, no, I got to throw in Kiki Baker Barnes at HBCU AC. We got some good commissioners here. We got some good commissioners in HBCU land. So that wasn't an under 15 timeout? I guess Howard or UMBC took a timeout. But anyway, it's 15:05 left, so we still have the under 15 timeout to come in about 5 seconds or whenever the next whistle is, under 15. Ace Valentine, he's another one of those guards I mentioned. He has not had a really good game so far. Makes a free throw there, though. Valentine's the guy that shoots 92.8% from the free throw line. So that's the guy you cannot afford to foul in a clutch situation. And he misses the free throw as I say that. Announcer's jinx. 63-52 Howard. 15 minutes left in regulation. Howard with possession now. Gillis pulls up for three, knocks it down. 66-52 Howard. Man, they are really about to pull away from this thing, man. UMBC's in some trouble now. That is Howard's largest lead tonight, and it's almost a 5-second violation. Whew! They are all over UMBC right now, boy. And the ball falls loose, and it's a jump ball. Oh, they called him for a travel or a carry. Now we are at the under 15 timeout. So 14:33 left in the – maybe it's the under 16 timeout I'm thinking about. I'm sorry. But anyway, Gillis knocks down the three, and I don't know how that's a travel. Oh, yeah, he was rolling. He was rolling. Rocking and rolling, rolling, rock. Shouts out to Bobby Brown. Oh, terrible pass by Okoji there. King to the bucket, gets a foul call. I'm not saying, well, Crook, you saying it from a slander perspective. I'm saying it from a, let's give Jackson State some grace perspective. I mean, I know you a Southern guy and you don't like Jackson State, but you should not want Jackson State to be homeless from a football perspective. Because where are they going to play? Where are they going to play? I don't think it's funny. I mean, I understand you think it's funny, but I hope Jackson State can find a way to fund their new stadium, because we know the state of Mississippi ain't giving up no money because Tate Reeves and his goons refuse. Yep. Man, they come in here. I think, as a matter of fact, I think they are here, or they were here. They were in Philly, and I think I missed it, which is funny because New Edition was the first concert I ever went to. I'll never forget it. January 31st, 1989. My mom, my older cousin, and my little sister, we went to see New Edition at the Spectrum in Philly. It was with Bobby Brown and Heavy D. And guess who fell asleep during the concert? Yeah, not one of my proudest moments. I was 7 years old. Don't judge me. Taylor for three. No. It's still 66-54 Howard with 13 minutes to go here in regulation. Howard's trying to hold a double-digit lead. UMBC's trying to eat into it. King had a good look at the three. Steps in. Airballs the two. UMBC gets a bucket, so the lead is down to 10. 66-56. Wait a minute. Soldier Rag with his HBCU commissioner rankings: 1 CIAA, 2 HBCU AC, 3 SWAC, 4 SIAC, way down the list on 7-7 MEAC. And Amanda says, we need a new commissioner bad. I'm embarrassed by that lady. How? What did Sonya Stills do to you, Amanda? Come on now. Y'all got to remember, Dennis Thomas left this thing a wreck, dog. Dennis Thomas left this thing an absolute dumpster fire. I don't think that's Sonya Stills' fault, man. And I keep telling people, the only thing that saves Dennis Thomas's legacy is the fact that he created the Celebration Bowl. Because the MEAC had some piss poor ideas under his watch. Need I bring up Miyake again? Uh-oh. UMBC's back within 8. It's 66-58 here, about 12 minutes to go here in regulation. So Howard needs to find a way to stem the tide here, get a bucket and a stop. One thing about Howard, they're being patient with their offense. Taylor can't make the three. So, yeah, Howard needs to stop settling for jump shots. They need to start attacking that zone like they did in the first half. And just get a good stop there on defense. So now we're at the under 12 timeout. So with 11:56 to go in regulation, Howard leads UMBC 66-50. Hell no. No, sir. No. If y'all don't know who Miyake is, just Google. Just Google. I mean, Aggie 76, you tell no lies. Those are facts. Let me take a sip of water real quick. Make sure my throat doesn't close up on me because I usually don't talk this much. You know, my podcast, the MEAC More, usually about 35, 40 minutes. I've been on this joint for almost 2 hours now. Solo. Not that I mind because, you know, I get to talk to you guys and we have a real good time talking. So, Crook, please. Can we at least wait until Jackson State gets a stadium before we start celebrating the closure of the the vet? My God. But yes, I hope Jackson State's stadium situation gets figured out. I mean, because Jackson State is, they're one of the gold standards of black college football. I mean, look at their Hall of Fame, list. You got Walter Payton. You have Dr. Doom, Robert Brazil. You've got Pro Bowlers like Jerome Barkham, the tight end for the New York Jets back in the day. You have Jimmy Smith was finally going in the Hall of Fame. How did it take so long for Jimmy Smith to get in the Hall of Fame? Because when you think about wide receivers during that increase in passing, when the NFL came into a pass-heavy league, Jimmy Smith was one of those guys with Jacksonville. Him and Keenan McCardle terrified the crap out of everybody. Mark Brunell with that lefty delivery. How did the Jags never make a Super Bowl? That's crazy to me. As much talent as that Jaguars team had, they never made a Super Bowl. That is mind-boggling to me. They're still looking for a Super Bowl appearance all these years later. I don't know if they get one, but Amanda said when the potted plant. Yeah, people forget that Dennis Thomas's nickname on the MEAC fans message board was the potted plant. So it's the crazy. Yeah, so Drag said, talking to Amanda, he said, when the potted plant retired, I thought that the presidents were going to be serious, but I was wrong. I'm going to tell you guys something. I've talked to Commissioner Stills before. I find her to be a very nice lady who has the best interest of the MEAC at heart, but there needs to be some more muscle behind the hustle. That's about the scope of it. I don't think she's terrible. I don't think she's bad as everybody says she is, but I do think that we've come out of the Dennis Thomas era long enough to where we need to start seeing some strides being made. Whether that's expansion or figuring out, dang, Taylor did move that foot first, so that's a travel. But yeah, there needs to be something happening. And remind you, you're not going to get expansion in the way you think you're going to get expansion. Because remember, this dude, Chris Stevens, asked the Virginia State Athletic Director, the esteemed Tiffany Dawn Sykes, directly. If you guys missed the HBCU Sports New Year's Eve live stream, you can go check that out. But actually, we have the interview posted with AD Sykes. And I said, AD Sykes, is there any chance that Virginia State joins the MEAC? And she said, Chris, no. she said flat out, not today. I said, okay. So I have asked. Big time 3-pointer for Howard. They're back up 11. It's 69-58 with 11:20 to go here in regulation. So every time UMBC gets close, Howard has an answer. That's the mark of a championship ball club. Anthony Cotton with the jumper. He's got 8 points. Oh, man. That was a nice shot by number 20 from UMBC. So the lead is back down to 8 again. Shouts out to VM Matt. Damn Nashville Titans, ex-Oilers. That's why the Jags don't have an NFL chip. Yep, 1999. I really keep forgetting that Titans team of 99 literally had to who else did they beat that year? Because I know they beat the Bills on the Music City Miracle. Rest in peace, Frank Wycheck. And who else? I mean, I know they beat the Jags in the championship game, but they had to beat somebody else in the divisional round. I forgot who it was. Was it I can't remember who it was for the life of me. But yeah, that Titans team literally just stole everybody's thunder, but they ended up losing to the Rams anyway. Shot clock under 10. Taylor for 3. No. So a 69-60 Howard with 10:36 left. Aggie 76, the Ravens beat the Titans in the divisional round in 2000. Remember, that's when Ray Lewis stole the ball from Eddie George. So yeah, I don't think that's who the Titans beat in 99. I can't remember. It's killing me. It is killing me. I'm usually good with this stuff. Anyway, 10-3 run for UMBC. They're back within 7. Oh man, it's getting kind of scary now. We have reached the halfway point of the second half, and UMBC is down 69-62. They have the ball. Foul on Howard. Amanda says Sonya Stills let Virginia State get away. Unacceptable. They should be in the MEAC. I don't think she let them get away. I just think Virginia State doesn't want to come. And that's their choice. I mean, granted, they have the money to do it. They have the facilities to do it, but I just don't think they want to come. And I think that's fair because again, this money situation is crazy. I mean, when you have a softball player, and no disrespect because I love softball and I love to see a young black woman get her money anyway. Texas Tech is paying Najee Kennedy, their star pitcher, $1 million. And that's to play softball. Our schools struggle to raise $1 million for the entire athletic program. So that money is just not what people think it is. The money is just way too much. And I mean, I think it's $4 million now or something like that to join Division I. So where's Virginia State going to get that $4 million from? Even though they have a great gym. I mean, I love Virginia State's convocation center. Big three-pointer from Bryce Harris. Now they are back up 9. It is 72-63 Howard. We are at 9.5 minutes left in the second half. So I just, if Virginia State wanted to come and then, somehow the MEAC fumbled it, okay. But I just get the idea that I just get this the feeling that Virginia State is like, we are cool in the CIAA. And I respect that. I wish a lot more schools would understand that, we don't have a lot more HBCUs will understand that we don't have to play this game and we can still have, competitive sports programs and pride in our sports programs. Because think about it, Winston-Salem State, they knew they couldn't make it in the MEAC, and there was no shame in that because guess what happened as soon as they left? They went to the Division II championship game. So you really have to be smart with how you Howard just turned the ball over and UMBC's up 7. So I just want people to be smart about how they, view our athletic programs and, how we need to compete because, yes, we should have competitive sports programs. Sports build school pride and all of that. But the fact of the matter is this game has just gotten way too expensive. So, while Virginia State might have the money and the resources, lead is back down. Lead is down to 5 now. Coach Blakeney might want to call a timeout. UMBC has not led since early in the first half. So Howard has to find a way to, hold on to this lead here over the next 8 minutes. Now we're under the 8-minute mark. Shot clock is down to 10. Harris has to do something. Harris crosses over, goes to the rim. Can't finish. Uh-oh. UMBC has made 6 straight buckets, and they just turned it over on the travel. So we are at the under. So we got a timeout at 7:43 left. It is 72-67 Howard. They will have possession out of the timeout. VM Matt says the Nashville needs to start wearing those old Love You Blue uniforms too. That owner is so petty. Amy Adams Sistrunk, she must hate Houston, Texas, because she will not let go of those Oiler colors for nothing. Those new Titans uniforms are absolutely what the 2026 Houston Oilers will wear if the 2026 Houston Oilers existed. That is some diabolical work. I understand why Texans fans are 38 hot with that entire organization. But hey, it is what it is. The Texans are in better shape than the Titans are right now. So, I mean, do with that what you can. Amanda says Winston-Salem State is cheating. They want to stay in the NCAA and be champs every year. Problem is they haven't won a football championship in recent years. So, I mean, but they did. I mean, but as soon as they left the MEAC, they went right to the Division II championship game. So it's like, hey, that was a smart move. Savannah State, I'll tell you why Savannah State stayed around the MEAC as long as they did. Because the MEAC could not admit defeat after the whole Morris Brown fiasco. Because I'm going to tell you guys something. When I was a student in undergrad, way back in the early 2000s, yes, I am that old. I am that old. So this was about 2001, because the MEAC, this is when Dennis Thomas was commissioner, and the MEAC was absolutely desperate for a Georgia presence. Because you had to remember, Florida A&M was still there, Bethune-Cookman was still there. You skipped Georgia, South Carolina State. You had A&T. You go over to Virginia. You had Hampton and Norfolk State. You had A&T in North Carolina. I forgot about North Carolina. Or did I mention A&T? Yeah, we had A&T. You had Norfolk State and Hampton. You had Howard, Coppin, UMES, and Morgan State in the DMV in Baltimore. And you had Delaware State. But the MEAC desperately wanted a Georgia presence. So MEAC schools started playing Winston-Salem State and Savannah State and Morris Brown in a ton of sports. Yes, please go like our Facebook page, folks. Like and subscribe to our channel. Like and subscribe to our channel. The more people show up, the more chances we get to make some money and keep this thing going. But yeah, so I think what was working, they were working towards extending invitations to both Morris Brown and Savannah State, but then Morris Brown had that financial aid scandal that closed the school down for pretty much 15 years. So that was the only thing that, kept Savannah State in the MEAC, because Savannah State accepted the invitation, but they had to do a lot of legwork. So they were an independent team for a long time. They weren't considered a MEAC team until like about 8 or 9 years after that invite had first been extended. But then they ended up leaving after 5 years because they realized, it was just too much money. But yeah, there was actually a point where they were trying to invite both Morris Brown and Savannah State, but Morris Brown had their shenanigans. Wow, what a finish. That's a big time basket. Right out of timeout. Bryce Harris, man. No, wait, that was a Koji on the finish. But Bryce Harris, he's getting all the face time because he is the MEAC Player of the Year. And he chose to stay all 4 years. So Okoji's been balling though. So yeah. Howard is back up 7. It's 74-67 with 7:36 left. Okoji has a chance to make it an 8-point game here at the free throw line. And he can't, so it's still a 7-point game as we enter 7.5 minutes left in the second half. Yeah. I always felt, UMBC can't get the bucket. So yes, it felt like that was happening because you had Morris Brown playing Delaware State in football. You had Morris Brown playing, certain MEAC schools and like other sports like volleyball, basketball, and all of that stuff. So it was coming. Oh, what nice pass by Taylor. Back out to Taylor for 3. Can't make the shot, but Howard gets the offensive rebound. UMBC is getting killed on the boards, by the way, but they just come up with a big turnover. So Yeah, so the MEAC has had a hard time just going after teams and keeping teams because I think people really didn't expect A&T and Hampton to leave. I mean, Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman always had one foot out the door. Been that way for years. And I think the way Hampton and A&T left just had everybody in absolute panic mode as UMBC misses another three-pointer but gets the offensive rebound, then turns it over. Okoji goes in, can't finish. Okay, UMBC has some numbers here if they hurry. And that's a charge. So, yeah, so the MEAC has just had trouble. I think what it is that you're just not going to get teams willing to go into a conference that, when you think about it, was started on shaky ground anyway. Because you got to remember, when the MEAC started in 1970, which is a very long time ago, the CIAA had 18 schools. And those schools that ended up leaving, they all felt that we couldn't, Howard left. It was Howard because South Carolina State was in the SIAC back in the late 60s, early 70s. So the teams that left the CIAA, Delaware State, Howard, Morgan State, Maryland State College at the time, now UMES, A&T. And they just felt that, okay, we need to start something new here because we're not going to get what we need from the CIAA. So those schools left. They asked South Carolina State to join them from the SIAC, and that's how the MEAC got started in 1970. But what happened, and Central left too, but Central ended up going back to the CIAA, then coming back to the MEAC in the early 2000s, along with Winston-Salem State. Taylor for three. Got it. Howard's back up 10. 5.5 minutes left. HU, no. Howard is 6 of 12 from three in this half, man. They really got it going. Their defense is rocking right now. Got UMBC all out of sorts. Got to do something. Shot clock is under 10. And Valentine dribbled it off his foot. Koji, did he just get called for the offensive foul? No, they called no. So yeah, Howard's about 5 minutes away from a trip to Buffalo and number one seed Michigan, man. That was smart. Yeah, they just playing some really good basketball right now. Taylor finally made a three-pointer. He was trying a couple of them. And now Howard is going back to the free throw line. So we got about there's 5 minutes and 2 seconds left. Howard is up 77-67. If they just, can run this clock, man, play smart, they will have won their first ever NCAA tournament game. Shouts out to Larry Spriggs. You got to be old to remember Larry Spriggs. Larry Spriggs played in MEAC and Howard before I was born, but I just knew that because he was a part of the Showtime Lakers for a brief period. And Chick Hearn used to say, Larry Spriggs from Howard University. So Cedric Taylor III makes the first free throw. Howard's up 78-67. Makes the second, 79-67 Bison. 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go. So the winner of this game, once again, gets number one seed Michigan in Buffalo, New York. Hometown of one of my favorite artists, the late, great Rick James. I can't say the rest, but you know. Armstrong finally missed the three-pointer. Look at the hustle from Howard. My goodness. Gillis, alley-oop. Hello. Oh, he missed it. He missed it. Koji missed it. I thought he got it, but he didn't. Valentine gets to the free throw line. Again, this is a guy who shoots 92.8% from the free throw line. Wrong guy to foul. But Howard is up 79-67. It's 4 minutes and 25 seconds left. They just got to play smart these last 4.5 minutes. Okay, so Valentine isn't the one with the 92% free throw percentage. He's 77%, but he makes that one. I know I did my research. One of those UMBC guards shoots 92% from the free throw line. That much I'm certain of. One of them. Maybe it's King. Maybe it's Armstrong. Valentine's 2 of 2 from the line. So it's 79-69 Howard. 4 minutes and 20-something seconds and running. So they just need to play smart right now. Howard, the clock is your friend. The clock is your ally at this point. You don't need to rush into anything foolish. Get the best possible shot. Like Gillis cutting to the lane and Taylor got fouled, no call. UMBC coming the other way. Armstrong with the deep three, no. Valentine tries a three, got it. 79-72 now. We're at the under 3-minute mark. Under 4-minute mark, excuse me. So yeah, UMBC's not going away. Give them credit. Even with their not having their legs, they're still very much in this ball game. So Howard still has to play smart here these last 3.5 minutes. Shot clock is under 10 now, so Howard needs to do something. And Gillis does with the floater. 81-72 Bison, 3:15 and counting as Howard calls a timeout here. Cam Gillis, man, he is tough. Tough little point guard. You got to love tough little point guards. Absolutely, Soldier Rag. There's a lot of buckets going on here. A lot more than the usual first 4 games. These first 4 games usually end up like 61-57 or something like that. But yeah, it is 81-72 Howard with 3:19 to go. So yeah, back to the MEAC and the expansion thing. I don't know where it's going to come from, because if you can't get CIAA schools to come, if your presidents didn't want Chicago State, what can you do? That's why I say this isn't all on Sonia Stills. I swear this isn't on Sonia Stills, because you have to be, very, very as the commissioner of a league, yes, it's your responsibility to make sure that your membership is happy, that your conference is on the up and up. But as I was saying, the MEAC was on shaky ground anyway when it started, because you had those 7 schools. You had you got what would hurt the MEAC in the first 10 years was 1979 was when things really started to get kind of shaky for the MEAC, because even though Florida A&M came on board, in 79, North Carolina Central went back to the CIAA and UMES dropped football. That is what hurt the MEAC, because you couldn't, and Morgan State left the MEAC for a brief period of time in the early 80s. So there was a period when the MEAC just had maybe a handful of teams, and then Coppin State joined in the late 80s. Morgan State came back. Bethune-Cookman joined. Florida A&M left, came back again. And Florida A&M always was just like, Donnell Jones. Say when you love someone, you just don't treat them bad. That's what they did. Charles Barkley, God bless him. The Chuck Wagon. The MEAC was always on shaky ground, and then that mass exodus with Howard with A&T, Hampton, Bethune-Cookman, and Florida A&M leaving one right after the other, that just killed what the MEAC was once upon a time, and has just got them on absolute life support right now. So yes, Virginia State would help, Fayetteville State would help, but if those schools don't want to come, you can't make them. It is what it is. So, it would be nice if we got baseball back, I think, because UMBS is not adding football. Coppin State certainly isn't adding football, but I would like to have us have some baseball back. So I think that would help. rush shot by UMBC, which is exactly what Howard wants. Now Howard has the possession, up 9 with 2:45 to go. Leading scores for Howard are pretty spread out. So shot clock running down to about 10 seconds. Bryce Harris at the top. Taylor in the post. Backs down. Layup, no, but Okogie with the putback. What else is new? 83-72 Howard with 2 minutes and 20-something seconds to go. So it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, the Howard University Bison will win their first ever NCAA tournament game. They will be headed to Buffalo, New York to play top seed Michigan in the Midwest region. Shouts out to Kenny Blakeney and these Bison for giving us a good show. I mean, there's still 2 minutes left, but and stranger things have happened, but I don't think UMBC has the gas. There's another horrible pass, almost a travel, but they get a layup there, and UMBC calls a timeout. So it's 83-74 Howard with 154 left. Howard's going to have possession. Yeah, VM the Rattler alum. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, FAMU is a Southern Conference participant in score. Yeah, I know they started out in the SIAC and, joined the MEAC at once upon a time. But, yeah, I mean, it was just the lay of the land, as Soldier Rag said. I'm trying to find what he said. Yeah. MEAC suffers from bad real estate on the East Coast with HBCUs. I think that's what people forget, because HBCUs, by and large, fair or foul, are thought of mostly to be a Southern institution, because that's where most of them are. There aren't that many HBCUs above the Mason-Dixon line. You have Wilberforce, you have Central State, you have Lincoln and Cheney, you got Delaware State, even though we're on the borderline, basically. Same for the Maryland and DC schools. But yeah, every HBCU mostly you can think of is down south. And the MEAC just has not been able to establish a strong enough base within the D2 HBCU realm in that region to get these schools to come, as Howard is running some clock smartly. Shot clock is under 10 seconds now. Bryce Harris once again out top. Cam Gillis, point guard, you want it in his hands. Got to do something here. Got to put up a shot. Well, at least it hits rim. And all right, so UMBC comes out in transition. Valentine. Oh man, he got hammered. Oh no, wait, that's Armstrong. So Howard's in the penalty. So UMBC can get 2 points and the ball. 2 points with the clock stopped, which is huge for them. But is Armstrong going to be in a position to make these free throws, as Harris accidentally got him, I guess, with a thumb to the eye? If it was Ric Flair, we know it wouldn't be an accidental thumb to the eye, because Ric Flair was the dirtiest player in the game. But oh wait a minute, that was a coach. I think it was either Okogie or Harris. I think they both got him, actually. So I think that's what the referees are trying to figure out. Hopefully they're not going to call this a flagrant, because I don't think there was anything flagrant about that. Those guys were reaching for the ball. Yeah, I think Harris just accidentally got him in the face. So yeah, I guess they're going to review this for a hostile act or something, which I would hope they would not say it's a hostile act, because we got Gene Steratore. And Gene Steratore says that this shouldn't be a flagrant foul. So if Gene Steratore said, so yeah, it's not a. I just noticed something about Mr. Armstrong's ears. Like, wow. Okay, sorry. So yeah, it's just a common foul. Yeah, this is Armstrong. He's the one that shoots 92.8% from the free throw line. He's got a chance at a 1-1 here and makes it. So it's 83-75 Howard now. So the foul trouble situation is like this. Adunowo has 4 for UMBC. Jose Roberto Tanchin has 3, or a couple guys on Howard with 4. Armstrong makes both free throws. So it's 83-76 Howard with 1 minute and 13 seconds left. So the Bison, first they got to get the ball in bounds, which they do. And they turn it. Oh, they almost turned it over. Woo! They almost turned it over. And now Howard gets to run some clock. Now they got a foul. Now UMBC has to foul. And Gillis. Crook is a troll, man. He just called FAMU a fake PWI. Oh, my God. Please don't turn this into the swag page. This is the MEAC More, for crying out loud. Please. Oh, man, Gillis missed the front end of the free throw, so UMBC has a chance to get closer. Spin move. Oh, man. Taylor can't believe that foul was called on him. So, Amanda, it wasn't just me. Good to know. I was like, what the heck? I mean, that young man can't help whatever's going on with him. God bless him, but he just scared me. I was like, what the hell? What's going on here? Oh, Cedric Taylor III just fouled out. That's rough. That is tough. So Howard's got to go the rest of the way without their leading scorer. They got to find a way to get these 53 seconds off the clock quickly. First free throw. Up and good. Second free throw. Up and good. So it's 83-78 Howard now with 53.4 seconds left. And UMBC is going into a full court press here. And Gillis gets fouled. see Curtis knows too. Yeah, we're not trying to make fun of this young man at all. Don't get me wrong, but it just scared us. It was like, holy crap. Anyway, Cam Gillis at the free throw line, 77%. Missed the first one. Got to make these. And because Howard's still not in the double bonus yet. Wow, Gillis missed them both. Missed the first one. So here we go again. 83-78. 83-81. Armstrong. Oh my goodness. I spoke too soon. And now UMBC doesn't have to foul. They can actually let Howard stall out on a possession here. Yeah, man. Got to make your free throws. Those are 2 big misses by Gillis, and he's been good all year. Uh-oh, indeed. So it is 83-81 Howard, and they were just up 83-72. So it's 83-81 Howard with 43 seconds left. And, of course, the shot clock's only 30 seconds. So Howard has to, hope. First of all, they got to get the possession, number one. And number two, they got to get a good shot off and make sure it counts. Yeah, this is anxiety season for us, man. Yeah, hopefully Howard pulls this off, man. Like we don't need another Winston-Salem State situation from last night, man. And granted, it won't be the officials' fault tonight. This is Howard, just not taking care of business. This is just Howard not taking care of business. But Winston-Salem State's women got screwed last night. Absolutely jobbed. Like it was an old Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin screw job. Like you got, Pat Patterson as the timekeeper, Gerald Briscoe as the special guest referee. That kind of screw job last night. That's what happened to Winston-Salem State. But yeah, so yes, ma'am, we can't look either. That young lady had her hands over her eyes. We can't look either, but we have to. 83-81 Howard with 43.4 seconds left. UMBC's out of timeouts, actually. but they're still not in the double bonus yet. Howard is, though. So, all right. So now, oh, wow. Gillis almost got caught sleeping. All right. 22 seconds left. Shot clock down to 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Gillis needs to do something here. 7, 6, 5. Harris goes up and gets it. Bryce Harris, MEAC Player of the Year. That's what he does. 85-81, Howard and UMBC calls timeout. Or maybe, or it was Howard who called timeout. Well, because UMBC was out of timeouts. And now UMBC's coach, is trying to figure out what in the world is going on. But big time shot by Bryce Harris. Stop, fade away. And that ball was out of his hands before the light went off. That's good. That's good. So it's 85-80. So I think the referee was pointing the wrong way on the timeout. I think that's what it is. Because I think Kenny Blakeney did call a timeout, but if that had been ruled a UMBC timeout, they would have been given a technical foul because they were out of timeouts. The Chris Webber rule, as it was. So it's 11.3 seconds left. Howard's up 85-81. Big time shot by Bryce Harris, MEAC Player of the Year. That's what he does. So I wonder what UMBC's strategy is here. I think here goes Amanda. She's happy that they're winning, so now she's going to go back to being a North Carolina Central Eagle. I love my people, man. My people. That might be the smart play at this point. That might be what you need to do. Don't give them a good look at the basket because I think they still got to go the length of the floor here. Yeah, you let him go all the way to the basket. So it's 85-83, 7.5 seconds left. UMBC's out of timeout. It's not too much they can do. Howard does use the timeout. Crook, please. This dude is a troll, man. I don't know how y'all put up with him, man. I don't even know what this is about. Again, this is the MEAC More, not the swag page, bro. Amanda says, no, I'm honest. If we do right, I'm good. Yeah, that timeout did look a little sketch. I ain't gonna lie to you. It did look a little sketch. So UMBC, they still got a shot. It's 85-83 with 7.5 seconds left. What is Howard challenging? I think it's just time. All right, so we get the dribble. Go in. Oh, that ball. I get what Kenny Blakeney was challenging. Because the clock stopped at 7.5 when the ball hadn't gone all the way through the rim yet. Let's look. Yeah, that thing was stopped for like almost a good second. That's crazy. Let me find out that same officiating crew from the Winston-Salem women's game made their way to Dayton tonight. All right, so Howard, they're going to get so yeah, now they took the time off. So 6.6 seconds left. Howard's up 85-83. Got to find a way to inbound the ball. And of course, UMBC is going to have to foul. So these free throws, if Howard gets the inbound, these free throws are going to be critical. 6, 5, and it's Gillis again. So this young man at the free throw line, Mr. Brown, two biggest free throws in his life. Isaiah Brown has not attempted a free throw tonight. 77.8 from the line. And this is a 1-1. So if he misses, UMBC has a chance. Got it. 86-83 Howard with 5.5 left. So if he makes this one, you just let UMBC go all the way to the basket. Because because they're out of timeout, so they're gonna have to expend all their energy going to the basket anyway. Second free throw up and short. 5, 4, 3. Last chance. 4. No! And Howard survives. Whew, Jesus. That was a close call, but the Bison are moving on, ladies and gentlemen. They have won the first tournament game in their NCAA tournament game in their history. They will move on to play number 1 seed Michigan and Buffalo in the Midwest region on Thursday. And the MEAC champion is still dancing, ladies and gentlemen. Shouts out to Kenny Blakeney and the Bison. Nothing to be ashamed of from UMBC. They made it close. They had a good chance. That cross-court pass is what screwed it up because Howard's defense really had that man trapped. And then, but then again, it's the dude who's been a nightmare all night long, and he had a really good look. It was just off to the left or to the right, actually. All right, so it's Howard versus Michigan, Thursday, 7:10 Eastern Standard Time in the Midwest region. So this was fun. You guys really showed up and showed out for your boy. I really appreciate y'all. I don't want to get off the air just yet, but if you guys have any questions or any topics that you want to discuss in the next 10 or 15 minutes or even a little more, please let me know. Shout out to my guy Curtis Tarver from 80 Minutes of Regulation. It's a really good band blog. You should check that out, by the way. Chris, you put on a hell of a show as always. Maybe next time I hop in, I won't be against the general tenor. Y'all be easy. Shouts out to UMBC, man. They had a great year. Nothing to be ashamed of. Really good ball club. They shouldn't have been a 16 seed, at least not in the first 4 anyway. So shouts out to UMBC. Great game. They'll be back in the future. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you got any questions? You want to holler at your boy about something MEAC related? Please let us know before I sign off for the night because I got a date with the gym tomorrow morning. Told you I'm trying to lose this 40 pounds so I can get serious. So yeah. But shout out to VM Matt says, congrats to the Bison. Now get some reps and go stomp out the Wolverines. Hopefully they can. That's the goal. Come on, bro. Have some pride. Have some respect for yourself and HBCUs, man. Let's have an HBCU united front. Because the Lehigh really need another NCAA tournament win? No, they don't. They beat Duke with CJ McCollum. Of course, that was 14 years. Oh, come on, man. Don't put the towel on the young lady's head. But anyway, Howard wins 86-83. Amanda is so serious. She said, Coach B need to do right if you want my support. That timeout was dirty. I don't like dirty, unclean play. Yeah, I have to admit that timeout did seem kind of like late. But Howard wins. The Bison move on. So yeah. Overall, this was a fun little stream. 2.5 hours. Wow, by myself. But yeah, this was fun. He said it. Crook says I like PV. Now they the new JSU. Lord have mercy. Southern. Oh yeah, Crook is Southern. I'm upset, if I may. I mean, I get that Southern was probably, should have been the favorite to win the SWAC Women's Championship because Carlos Funches does a hell of a job. But damn it, we needed Dawn Thornton in her fashion in the NCAA tournament. Respectfully, of course. But they had to win the game, and they didn't. Southern did. So I'm not going to take anything away from Southern, even though I'm kind of mad I don't get to see Dawn Thornton on the sidelines. But Southern, I hope their women win too. So, I mean, like I said, this is an HBCU versus everybody sort of thing. If you ain't with us, you against us. So, yeah. I think that covers it for tonight. I think we've done what we came to do. We talked about Howard. We talked about the MEAC. We talked about food. We talked about a lot of good stuff. We always have fun on these live streams. So thank y'all for tuning in with your boy Chris Stevens on this special MEAC and More live stream. Greatly appreciate y'all as always. Do not forget. Thank you, Soldier Rag. Thank you. And after watching the team in the interview, why would you gamble trusting 18 to 22-year-olds? I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust an 18 to 22-year-old to take my car to the gas station and back. So, yeah. But, yeah, thank y'all for tuning into this edition of the MEAC and More. Greatly appreciate y'all. If you want to, if you'd like to, if you feel moved, click that QR code and donate to keep this lovely operation going. You can also go to Cash App. Cash App, type in $ HBCU Sports. You can donate there. You can also go to Zelle app, donate at hbcusports.com. And don't forget, we have a website as well, hbcusports.com/donate. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and become a level 1 or level 2 member for the neat and tidy sum of $4.99 a month. You can get all the $4.99, not $499, $4.99 a month. You can get all the Black College sports news that's fit to print and broadcast as we like to give it to you. Don't forget to follow us on all manners of social media. We are on the Musty app. That's Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, you name it. Search for HBCU Sports. We are there. Don't forget to like and comment on our videos, and just keep HBCU Sports going, man. We really want to keep giving you guys the Black College sports news that you guys deserve, and we think we do a good job of that. So thank you all for watching. Shouts out to the Bison for winning. We will catch you guys on the next time. Till the next time we talk, y'all take care of yourselves and